Here we're at some ebony pearl trees at the cemetery block. And the reason we're here is we want to look at a couple different things. We want to look at the internode spacing of these buds on these bull suckers, because this is the most likely type of growth that we're going to have on our Orchard of the Future trees. And the other thing we want to look at is the flexibility of these bull suckers for how we can bend them down. So why don't you zoom in here, Jim? So this branch grew really vigorously, and if we look at the internode space, this is pretty good, I think, considering how much it grew, especially like when you only have an inch or two difference here. But the thing that we have to pay attention to is we're only going to use one side of these uprights, because when we bend it down, we're going to remove all the bottom buds. So we have to look at that, because that means that the spacing is going to be double when we actually only look at one side here. So if we were only to look here at this side that's facing us, those are about 6 inches apart, which is roughly where we want them, because the other side we're just going to rub those off. All right, so now with no practice, we're going to see how this thing bends, because we have a question. We want to let this grow as much as we can before we bend it down. So I'm going to see how it bends. Is it going to break, Jim? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
The pessimist.
So if we just let this sucker grow all season, and we have our wire running along here, I'm going to see if it can bend. Well, that's pretty flexible, Jim.
Yeah, it's good.
That's pretty flexible. All right, I just heard it start to crack right in here after bending down with that much.
Is a little cracking okay?
Probably a little cracking is okay. I mean, I just heard it start. So
Yeah.
The question is, can you instruct a crew of like 6 people doing that?
Right.
That a little cracking is okay? Probably not. That shows me that this can bend down. Okay, so how wide is that? That's probably a little more than 3/4 of an inch, probably, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably like 7/8 of an inch or something like that, but it's pretty thick. So then here's another one coming up here. This bull sucker, the spacing of the buds would be fine. That's about 6 inches or so. So let's bend this one. Now this one already is kind of naturally bending this way, so that one, that's probably under 3/4 of an inch, probably 5/8 of an inch. It does bend down pretty easy.
Wow.
So we're going to bend the cordon down, and then we need to bend the tip up so
Mm-hmm.
that we keep apical dominance. I'm going to see what happens if we bend it the other way, against the grain, if you will. That's still really flexible.
Yeah.
So I have to climb up to get this one, but let's try it. So here, this is another ebony pearl tree, another water shoot. Boy, you're wrong, Jim.
Yep.
I have to say I was too. I didn't think they'd bend like this. This is making no sound or anything.
Yeah.
I see a little bit of cracking on the outer bark, but well, those are pretty big shoots. I mean, what is that? Probably 7 feet long or so?
Oh yeah.
And that's about what we want to grow. And the other thing that is worth noting is this tree, we want to produce some seleptics, and this is really indicative of branches where you leave all of the buds. Is they only push seleptics at the last part of the upright.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if this were to grow, and we were to go to this branch while it's growing and pop buds off on the side that is going to be down, these that are left are going to be way more likely to blow limbs.
Mm-hmm.
So if we bend this sucker down, so we know when our trellis is there, we know what direction we're going to bend the cordon. So we can look, and on that side that's going to be down, we can just flick these off as they grow, and it's going to blow. It's going to put a lot more pressure to blow these as seleptics.
And you would do that before bending it over.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and during the growing season, several times during the growing season, come and clean it. Greg Lang did that work in Michigan State. He just published a paper, and he said that when you don't remove buds, you only get branches breaking in the upper part.
Mhm.
But that was after they bent it. That was after they bent it down. So I want to do it while it's growing.
Okay.
See it. So anyway, there you go. Ebony Pearl bending the cordon test.